tiptoe with trepidation through the sparsely lit walkways of a besieged lunar prison in the Callisto Protocol, and be prepared to come up close and personal with its mutant enemies. Known as the Biophage, these malevolent monstrosities are former inmates transformed by a mysterious outbreak. Tentacles protrude from their ravaged bodies as the contagion takes a hold, bulbous boils bulge from scorching flesh, and bone shards poke through their mottled skin. These monsters are truly disgusting to behold, but their design, as revolting as it is deliberately grounded in reality. See, beneath the Biophage's repulsive form, says creative director Glauco Longhi, lies remnants of a human locked inside. These deranged humans are horrifying precisely because they're believable. To hone in on the concept of believability, Longhi and the rest of the creative team at Striking Distance Studios research real-life human deformations and infection, creating a revolting catalog of material with which to draw reference. Perhaps taking a leaf out of the Naughty Dog playbook, who co-opted the real-life cordyceps parasite as the source of The Last of Us' zombie infestation, Striking Distance Studio are also gleaning inspiration from the stranger corners of the natural world. Proboscis worms, for instance, spew toxin-laden mucus from their sucking mouthpart in a mesmerizing tree root pattern. It's equal parts repulsive and intriguing. The design of the Callisto Protocol's creatures, says Longhi, is intended to provide that same combination of disgust and interest. It's not as if cargo pilot prison inmate Jacob Lee has much of a choice. It was said at this feature's outset that anybody unlucky enough to cling on to life in the beleaguered Black Iron prison will come face to face with the game's mutant monstrosities, and boy, do these monsters like to get up close. The violence and brutality at play in the Callisto Protocol is not for the faint of heart. Assuming command of Jacob, players must rip chunks off their enemies, smash skulls, and sever limbs to survive. A lot has been said of the Callisto Protocol being a spiritual successor to cult classic intergalactic horror Dead Space. The lineage is clear to see. We all know that game's particular penchant for hacking off limbs, but Striking Distance developed tools to make the Callisto Protocol a much gorier, more intense, and more terrifying experience than its spiritual predecessor. For instance, the Callisto Protocol utilizes a bespoke gore engine with state-of-the-art gore technology which renders blood, flesh, and viscera in alarming detail. Jacob's no stranger to gory demises either. No, death in the Callisto Protocol is as much a spectacle for every player death as it is for every kill. Death can come at the hands of the environment. An especially disturbing death already shared by the studio sees Jacob's arms trapped in an industrial fan, its mechanism slowly dragging Jacob inside like a human-sized cheese grater conveyor belt. Another extremely visceral death animation comes courtesy of one of the game's announced creatures, absurdly dubbed Big Mouth for its gaping maw. It's got a bulging humanoid head overran with jagged teeth, a drooling xenomorph-esque threat which takes a massive chomp out of Jacob's head, clamping onto his face before ripping it clean off, exposing veins, sinew, and chillingly half a flapping tongue. The Callisto Protocol's extremely detailed death animations are intended to disturb players who skulk with trepidation throughout their escape from Black Iron Prison, too scared to witness yet another hyper-realistic, horrifying demise. Of course, there will be those who will see the game's multitude of grisly death animations as collector's items.
Gives me chills every time.
Encounters with Big Mouth will surely deliver on this front. Its purported Big Mouths will mutate under duress, attacking them, rendering them stronger and more fearsome opposition. These brutes might serve up the most common of the Callisto Protocol's monstrous encounters, as they're certainly the most featured creature across the Callisto Protocol's trailers and 3-part docuseries. Its final form is the culmination of 50 or so designs. What started out as a two-mouthed monster, Big Mouth underwent painstaking revisions, as the Callisto Protocol's animators found fresh ways for the game's monster to fit into the desired gameplay mechanics. That is, one composed mostly of brutal melee combat. Black Iron's monsters have evolved to survive in their environment too. Case in point, the creature known only as the Blind, a horrifying eyeless humanoid that's become attuned to the dead moon's darkened skies and the deepest recesses of the prison where flickering neon light cannot reach. Their exact purpose is unknown at this stage, although the fact they exist as an entity that's evolved to survive in the dark indicates the mysterious outbreak at the heart of the Callisto Protocol's narrative has been around for some time. Of course, we know something nefarious is afoot with the shady United Jupiter Company. Perhaps as principal operator of the Callisto Moon's human colony, they've had a hand in the creation of its mutant creatures. Bloodworms are another announced monster whom we've seen gnawing at the neck of Jacob in the Callisto Protocol's gameplay trailer. These long-necked creatures strike from afar, seemingly from ground level, emerging from a pile of corpses. They'll be hard to spot from the other end of a darkened corridor, so it's perhaps graceful the bloodworms aren't said to deal major damage and are entirely survivable encounters should their teeth be prized off Jacob's neck in time. Other monsters revealed, although glimpses of them are rare at the present, are the Exploder and the Two-Headed Brute. Given the Callisto Protocol's naming convention for its monsters, it's safe to assume these two will explode and have two heads respectively. It's reported in Striking Distance Studios' The Callisto Protocol docuseries that there will be at least 11 enemy types in the game. As with any action-focused game, the breadth of enemy design is important. The Callisto Protocol, more than most, is aiming to capture an unnerving sense of dread and helplessness, a darkly atmospheric experience that'll keep players on their toes. A broad range of well-crafted, surprising, and unorthodox monsters will contribute significantly to the game's overall tension and helplessness. Combat isn't just designed to provoke feelings of desperation though. There will be a mix of frantic, brutal action with skill-based strategic gameplay. In an August 2022 PlayStation blog, the developer outlines the principal tactic to taking down the Biophage, complete with images of a more standard, as unapt as a word as it is, monster. Mostly still human in appearance, save for gray tentacles writhing from its chest. The strategy as proposed by the developer is to utilize a small window of opportunity to eliminate the tentacles with a few well-placed gunshots. Shooting the tentacles eliminates the virus. Fail and the mutant will grow stronger, changing into something more powerful and deadly. With the glimpses we've seen of Big Mouth thus far, the prospect of a stronger, fiercer, more deadly variant of this gaping mouthed brute is enough to send shivers down the spine. Here's hoping there's light at the end of Jacob's journey through Black Iron Prison, as an eternity stuck with its hellish miasma looks like one of the most unsettling and gruesome places ever conceived in video games. So what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.